are tracking developments in the trial of 3 Tacoma police officers in the death of Manuel Ellis. Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Pay. Ellis died while being restrained by police in March of 2020. Officers Matthew Collins, Christopher Burbank, and Timothy Rankin are all facing charges in his death. King 5 is live streaming the entire trial from opening to closing statements. We take you now to the courtroom live.
And are you from the Tacoma area?
Yes.
And did you grow up here?
Yeah.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to Henry Foss High School.
And what year did you graduate?
12th grade.
What year?
Oh, sorry. 2015.
Right, so how old are you?
I'm 26.
Back in March of 2020, how old were you then, on March 3rd?
22.
And when's your birthday then?
March 20th.
And can you tell us, are you employed?
Yes.
Where do you work?
I work at the Tacoma Rescue Mission.
And how long have you been working at the Tacoma Rescue Mission?
About a year.
And what kind of work do you do there?
I'm a generalist on the women's side. I help with the homeless women.
I'm sorry, you didn't hear the last word.
Sorry,
Well,
could you say that again? You didn't hear your last word.
I worked as a generalist on the women's side and help with like the women that are homeless.
And have you worked, is this the only time you worked at the Tacoma Rescue Mission, or have you worked other times there?
No, I worked there before I had my last daughter, who's a year now. I worked there for maybe 8 months.
So it sounds like all total you've worked there about a
Almost
year.
2 years. Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said you have 3 kids. I want to talk about March of 2020. How many children did you have, and how old were they at that time?
I had 2 at the time. I had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And back in March of 2020, do you recall where you were living on March 3rd, or actually just in March of 2020?
I was staying with between my sisters, an old neighbor, and my mom's house.
And what's your sister's name?
Sadie.
And is she older or younger than you?
She's younger than me.
And where was Sadie living in March of 2020?
She lived in the Arrow Apartments in Tacoma on Hosmer, Ash Street.
On Hosmer and what street?
It's Hosmer and then Ash Street's like.
And Ash?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like that.
All right. So I want to ask you about, did you have occasion to witness an event that happened on March 3rd, 2020 at the intersection of 96th and Ainsworth?
Yeah.
And can you tell the jury, just tell us what you recall about what you saw when you got to that intersection?
So when I pulled up to the intersection, there was a police car in front of me. It was a red light. I was sitting there. Nothing was happening that was unusual. The light turned green, and then that's when I realized, or the cop wasn't going, so I was like, what's going on? I had seen Manuel Ellis at the intersection on the sidewalk. What looked to me as if the officers maybe got his attention to come towards the door or come towards them. Manuel walked, he's still on the sidewalk, walked to the officer's car. He was a distance away from the door. Looked like they were having a conversation. What I thought was maybe they knew him and they were just asking how he was doing. I have no idea. It was still just like, whatever, you know. Then Manny, he turned around to me, what looked like he was walking away, going towards the sidewalk again. But before he could get to the sidewalk or walk away, the passenger officer swung his door open and knocked Manuel to the floor, or to the ground. And he was on his knees, and then he jumped out. The driver officer flicked on his yellow lights, jumped out, ran around the front of the cop car, and grabbed Manuel and like flipped him, body slammed him onto the ground. The passenger officer came from the side, or came, you know, they were all right there, came and then started punching Manuel in the face over and over again. Then they were just like squirming around on him, fighting him. And then at this point, I think Keon had like gotten out the car. And to me, I thought he was going to approach them, and I didn't want him to go over there because I didn't know what would happen to him. So I started screaming at him to get back in the car. And then, mind you, too, he had my 2 daughters in the car. And what I was seeing, I just didn't want us to be involved with it or him to get into it. And then
Okay. Let me just kind of go back and unpack that a little bit. So you said that you were at the intersection, or you pulled up to the intersection at 96th and Main Street, is that right?
Yes.
And did you, was the police car already there?
Yes.
And what, was the light red, green, what was it?
The traffic light was red. Red.
The traffic light was red?
Mm-hmm.
And you said, what kind of car were you in, Sarah?
A gold Cadillac.
And you mentioned a moment ago that Keon was there. What kind of car was he in, do you recall?
A white Kia Altima.
And as you were describing what you saw, you made mention of Manuel Ellis, and then you said Manny.
Mhm.
Did you know Mr. Ellis?
No.
And had you ever met him before?
No.
So at what point did you learn who he was, who this gentleman was that you saw?
Once I got in contact with his family.
And when was that approximately?
June 4th, June 5th,
Of what year?
2020.
Okay, so you said that you pulled up to the light. Where were you, like, approximately what time of night was this?
Around 11:20.
Around 11:20?
Mm-hmm. 11:22, to be specific.
I'm really having a hard time hearing.
Sorry.
I think you said around 11:20.
Around 11:22.
And where were you coming from?
From my old neighbor's house, Holly's.
And where did Holly live?
East Wright Street on Portland Avenue.
And you said that Keon was in the car behind you, is that right?
Yeah.
With the children?
Yes.
So when did you first realize or become aware that something was happening?
When the light turned green and they didn't go.
And what was it about that drew your attention?
I was just, why aren't they going? It was just odd why they weren't going.
And you said at some point then you then noticed Mr. Ellis
Yes.
on the sidewalk, is that right?
Yes.
And prior to the light turning green and seeing the patrol car not move, do you recall if you had noticed Mr. Ellis?
I can't remember if the light had turned green before I seen him or not. I can't remember.
So it was after the light turned green that you noticed him?
For sure, yes. I just don't remember if I seen him before when the light was red. I can't remember.
I want to have you take a look at what's been marked and admitted as State's Exhibit 151. And that's going to come up on that screen, but it's also going to come up on this big screen. So I'll probably have you step down here for a moment. You can step down here for just a minute. And using State's Exhibit 151, can you just, do you recognize that first of all?
Yeah.
And what is that?
That's the street that it'll have.
I'm sorry. you should talk.
96 and 8th.
Thank you.
Right. And can you show the jury on there, to the best of your memory, approximately where your car was parked?
I was right here.
All right. And if we could have a mark placed on that, please. And we'll do a screenshot of that, Your Honor, and make it 151B. And where was the patrol car that you saw?
Right here.
And what about Mr. Lowry's car? Where was he?
Behind you.
So behind you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Now, you said that you saw Mr. Ellis on the sidewalk. Can you point to the jury where you recall first noticing him?
Like around here.
All right. Do we have that area marked as well? Are you able to see around me? Oh, I'm sorry. Could you do that again? I'm standing and watching. Okay.
That's not where she pointed.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit further over.
Keep going.
That's where the light was.
About there? All right. And you can take your seat again. Thank you. And we'll have that marked as State's Exhibit 151C. Now, when you first saw Mr. Ellis, you made mention of the fact that there was a sidewalk. Is that right?
Yeah,
And was he actually on the sidewalk, to your memory?
yeah.
And what did you see him do then?
I seen him walk towards the officer's car,
And which part of the officer's car did he walk towards?
towards the passenger door.
All right. So if you can step down here again, and if you could assume that this is the passenger side of the vehicle, with the front being directed at that location, can you just show us where you recall seeing Mr. Ellis walk, please?
Okay, so he was like this, the passenger right here, and then he like sort of this, and then walks away. Here's the passenger. Yeah, here.
We can't hear anything over here.
Sorry.
Please repeat your testimony.
So the car's right here, facing this way. He walks like this. The passenger door is right here. And he's sitting right here.
And can you estimate for us, I don't know if you're good at distances or not, but approximately how far was Mr. Ellis from the car door?
Like this is the door.
I'm sorry, you have to speak. Can't understand.
It looks like right here, and this is the door. It looked like he was right here.
Been a foot,
I guess, yeah.
two? Would you like us to use that?
Please.
Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you to put this on. Is it gonna create a problem when she sits back or not?
She can always just turn it off if it does.
Okay. Can you just put that on your shirt? I think you need to maybe turn it the other way so that it doesn't go on your shirt.
Up here or down here?
Yeah, that's fine. And then you can just, if you have a pocket. No?
Okay.
All right, so you were just demonstrating, assuming that the jury box was kind of the passenger side of the door.
Yeah.
And then what did you see, you said Mr. Ellis walked up to within a foot or two of the door, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes? Okay. And what could you see him do?
It just looked like he was having a conversation with the officers. And then he like standing like this, and then he like went to turn around. What I thought he was going back to the sidewalk. And then the passenger officer opened his door. He was close enough for him to get knocked down to his knees. And then the passenger jumped out. And then the driver officer flicked his lights on, the yellow lights, ran around the front of the car, and then it all started.
You can take your seat again. Thank you. Sarah, you said that it looked like there was a conversation between Mr. Ellis and the passenger officer. Is that right?
Yeah.
And could you actually hear what the conversation was?
No.
And why not?
Well, I was in the car, and then my music was on.
And do you recall whether or not your windows of your car were up or down?
I think they were down. I don't know. Could have been up, down.
And was anybody else in the car with you?
No.
And what, if anything, did you do when you saw Mr. Ellis get hit by the door and knocked down to his knees?
I hurried up and grabbed my phone and started recording.
And why did you grab your phone and start recording?
Well, because what I had seen scared me, and I didn't see any need for it. So I wanted to make sure that whatever happened was on tape.
And what do you mean that you hadn't seen any need for it?
Because Manuel Ellis wasn't doing anything.
And what do you mean by he wasn't doing anything?
Anything to get knocked down, in my opinion.
Did you see Mr. Ellis strike the patrol car at all?
No,
Did you see him assault the officers in any way?
no,
Did you see him engage in any sort of aggressive action towards the officers prior to seeing the door hit him?
no.
Now, you said that you grabbed your phone. Where was your phone to the best of your recollection?
Like in the middle console of my car.
And then what did you do after you grabbed your phone?
I hit record, and then I got out the car too, and started screaming for them to stop hitting him and to just arrest him,
And why did you do that? Why did you start screaming at the officers?
because I didn't want them to keep hitting him and hurting him, and I just wanted them to arrest him. What they were doing wasn't right to me.
Now, you talked about after the passenger officer knocked Mr. Ellis down, that the passenger officer then jumped out. Is that right?
Yeah.
And what, if anything, did you see him do to Mr. Ellis? What was Mr. Ellis's position, first of all?
Well, after he got knocked down, it happened so fast, the driver officer, when he got knocked down, I grabbed my phone. So during that time, the driver officer, which I seen, had gotten out, ran around. So I grabbed Manuel and slammed him down. The passenger officer ran and got on top of him and just started punching him in his face over and over again.
And did you see how many times the passenger officer punched Mr. Ellis in the face?
It was over and over. It was to me, what looked like 8 to 10 times.
Do you know how many times he actually struck him?
No.
And could you tell whether or not he was actually making contact with Mr. Ellis's face?
Yeah.
And how could you tell that?
I'm just seeing it.
You could actually see.
Hmm.
And could you hear Mr. Ellis at all?
No. I heard I can't remember.
What was the driver officer doing when the passenger officer, if you recall, when the passenger officer was punching Mr. Ellis in the face?
He was standing up. I can't really remember.
Is it hard to remember the exact sequence of what happened?
Yeah.
Now, you said that you took a video of this incident, is that right?
Yes.
I could have you take a look, and this is not for publication, but just on her screen. And if you could mute the sound. You can take a look at, we're going to show you on the screen what's been marked as State's Exhibit 20, and tell us if you recognize that. Tell us where you were when you said you drove past the officers and then did the second filming.
So it was right here at first, and then I drove around the cop car. And it was probably like about somewhere between there and there.
And you're indicating somewhere in front of the stop line, the
In front of.
white line?
Yes.
Okay, and a little bit forward from there?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. And do you remember precisely where it was?
I'd say about right here.
I'm sorry, I can't look at it.
I'd say like right here.
But this part you captured on video as well?
Yes.
Okay, you can take your seat again. The witness could be shown State's Exhibit 21, please. Again, without the sound at this point.
It's like right, you on 96, and then the pull-in way or whatever is to the right, and it's on 96.
And you said that you wanted to go back. Can you explain to the jury why you wanted to go back?
Because what I had seen wasn't right, and I just wanted to be there, and I don't know, I just wanted to do something about it.
And what do you mean when you say that what you saw wasn't right?
Well, when I seen Manuel not doing anything and then him getting attacked like that, it wasn't right. I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen a cop do that to anybody. And so it was like the worst thing I've ever seen. It was scary. It wasn't okay.
Were you upset by what you saw?
Oh yeah.
And we can hear you yelling. Is that your typical voice, or were you upset at the
No,
time?
I was upset.
So tell us when you came back, you said that you tried to go back to the location, and maybe we could have 151 back up, please. If you could step down again. Sorry about that. If you can just show the jury, first of all, which direction is your sister's house on 96?
This way.
All right, so it's not shown in the photographs, but you're pointing
No.
west on the photo?
Yep.
All right. And where did you go when you came back?
When I was coming back, I went this way, and there was officers right here. I turned this way.
And you're indicating you took a right onto
Yes.
Ainsworth, is that right?
Yes.
And so as you came back up to that intersection, tell us what you recall about what you could see at that point.
What I remember is there was an officer right here telling traffic or anybody that was right here to take a right. I looked over to where I had last seen Manuel, and where he was at when I left, there was like 6 to 10 officers all around where I had seen him last. I couldn't even see in between, like if he was still there or not, so I had no idea. And that's all I can remember from what I had seen then.
You can take a seat again. So you weren't able to see Mr. Ellis when you came back? When you
No.
drove back?
No.
And do you know approximately how long it was from the time you initially filmed it and witnessed these until when you came back?
I can't remember.
And it sounds like you don't recall whether or not you went inside your sister's house or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Did you let...
You're going to have to speak up or not tail off your voice quite so much.
Or you're talking about the witness?
The witness.
Okay, sorry. Understood.
I don't
Maybe,
remember.
I'll have you try to, I said not to lean in, but you might need to lean in a little bit to
I'm
this,
so quiet.
this microphone.
It's critical because I'm terrible about it myself.
I'm trying to move it a
You
little
know.
bit closer to you. Forgot where I was. Just give me a second.
You were talking about she couldn't remember if she had how long she had stayed at her sister's
Oh,
place.
yes, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. So, before you went back, did you say anything to your sister or to Keon about what you were doing?
No, I don't remember. I'm sure I told Keon, like, I was going back, but my sister, I don't recall talking to her.
And so that night, Sarah, did you know what had happened to Mr. Ellis?
No, only besides what I had seen.
Were you aware that at some point he died that night?
No.
So when you came back, were you able, it sounds like 896 was being blocked by the police. You couldn't just drive through the intersection, is that right?
Right.
And after you turned down Ainsworth, what did you do then?
I just went straight for a minute and then went right and eventually got to Sadie's house.
And did you spend the night at Sadie's house that night?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury, did you have any plan or any thought about whether or not you were going to do anything with respect to what you'd just seen?
Yeah, my plan was to post it on social media, specifically the Tacoma files. That was my plan.
And why was that?
Because what I had recorded wasn't okay, and so I wanted the public to see it and to get it out there, maybe find his family. I don't know. I just, yeah,
And did you end up doing that?
I didn't.
And why not?
The next day, March 4th, in the morning, my sister had woke me up and told me that one of my good friends had died, Atia, and so I was super, like, just crushed about that, and just, I didn't forget about it, but I was just not in a right spot. I was just hurt about my friend.
Now, you told us a moment ago that on June 4th, 2020, you sent the videos that we just watched to Monet, to Mr. Ellis' sister. Is that right?
Right.
Can you tell us what happened that prompted you to reach out? And first of all, did you know Monet?
No.
Had you met anybody in Mr. Ellis' family?
No.
So tell us what happened.
June 3rd, or I think it was June 3rd, maybe it was June 4th. I was, I believe, on Facebook. I came across a news article, and I was reading it. It was about a guy that was in the intersection trying to get into people's cars, maybe even houses, I can't remember. Was attacking the officer or their patrol car, whatever. And I didn't think anything. I was just like, whatever. But then once I got to like the address and the time and the date, I was like, wait a second, what? And so I hurried up, went to my phone camera, and to the video time stamp, it matched the same exact time that they were like stating in the article, same day, same street. And so I panicked. I messaged Jesse, asked him what he thought, like, what do I do? Because I didn't want to just send it to the police because I was scared. I was like, police did this.
Why didn't you want to send it to the police?
Because I was scared. They're the ones that did it, and then the article is a lie, so it was just all a lie, and so I didn't trust to send it to them. I wanted to find his family and let them do what they thought was best.
And so you said that you saw this on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And did the article that you read give the address of 96 the Ainsworth? Or
Yes.
the cross streets?
Yes.
All right. And it gave the date, I take it?
Yes.
And did it give the time?
Yes.
And based on, other than that, were the other things that you read in the article consistent with what you had witnessed?
No.
So tell us, you said you messaged Jesse, your fiance,
Yes.
about what to do?
Yes.
And then what did you do after you contacted Jesse? What did he tell you?
To
No, it's not offered for the truth, it's just offered to show her next day.
Just get to the point of what did she do?
Based on what your discussion with Jesse was, what did you do next?
I went and looked for his sister on Facebook. It was either his sister, no, sorry. I can't remember what it said in the article, if it had his sister's name stated. But either or, I either looked up Monet or I looked up Manuel's name, his full name, on Facebook, and I kept digging and I found his sister on Facebook, and I messaged her.
So I take it the article also had Mr. Ellis's name in it, is that right?
I'm not 100% sure, but it most likely did. I don't recall though.
I want to have you look at, I believe it's already been admitted, but Exhibit 893 has not? No? Okay. If you could take a look at it, it'll come up on your screen, Exhibit 893. And tell me if you recognize that document.
Yes.
And what is that?
That was me telling Monet, Manuel's sister, that
893 was admitted.
All right, you stand corrected. May we display it, Your Honor?
That's mine
I
not,
thought
did
it was, but
you? Susan, you got it?
I'm sorry.
You agree it was admitted? That's one for me. So, objections overruled. 893 was previously admitted.
Thank you.
if you could blow that up. All right, is this, what is this, Sarah?
That was me messaging Monet about me believing that I was behind the officers during this incident and that I think that it was her brother and to call me, and letting her know that what I had read was a lie. And yeah.
And was this the first time you'd ever had contact with Monet Mixon?
Yes.
And did you end up having a conversation or some sort of a contact with Monet that day?
Yes.
And was it, that was the first time that you had met her?
Yes.
Did you also, you said that you also sent her the videos, is that correct?
Yes.
I could have you take a look at Exhibit 31, which I believe has been admitted. And do you recognize what these are?
Yes.
What are these?
Those are the videos that I sent to Monet.
And did you send Monet both of the videos on June 4th, 2020?
Yes.
Right. What happened, what happened after you sent the videos to Monet?
I would object to just ask the here.
It is a little vague.
After you sent the videos to Monet, did you have occasion to meet her in person?
Yes.
And why was that? How did that happen and where was it?
They wanted to meet to or ask me what happened and to record it. And it happened at Holly's house.
The place that you had been living,
Yeah.
Holly's?
Yes.
All right. And do you recall who was there when they met you and wanted to record you?
I can't remember everybody. It was Monet, James, Bible, and then there was some people from the Tacoma Action Collective, I believe.
And was that, and you said that was at Holly's house, is that right?
Right.
And was that video recorded? the
Yes.
interview?
Yes.
And had you ever spoken to Mr. Bible or to anybody else there about this incident prior to that time?
No.
And did you also show them the video?
Yes.
And how did you play it for them?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
Because they wanted to record it.
I want to go back to at the time of this incident. I asked you about whether or not you knew Mr. Ellis.
Right.
Did you know either one of the officers that were involved?
No.
And do you know them even to this day?
No.
Can you give us any idea, were you able to distinguish between them at all in terms of their physical builds?
Yeah.
And can you tell the jury what you observed about the two of them?
The passenger was small, skinny, and then the driver was a little bit bigger, shorter to me.
And is that how you were able to distinguish them?
Yeah.
During the time that you observed the officers' interactions with Mr. Ellis, did you ever see Mr. Ellis do anything assaultive towards them?
Yes,
That has been asked and answered.
I'm sorry, I guess I'm just asking throughout the time. But I can ask you specifically with respect to the second part. I think I asked the question as it related to the first part that she witnessed, not as she drove back by.
You're saying in the second video is
Correct.
Mr.
Portion when she drove
Ellis
back.
doing something that's aggressive?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll permit that.
During the portion when you pulled out and were driving past the police car. Did you see Mr. Ellis do anything, assault the officers or be aggressive towards the officers there?
No.
Did you hear him say anything at all that swear at them, yell at them, anything like that?
No.
Did you see him, wait, I'll strike that. Sarah, at some point after you gave the videos to Monet and were interviewed on video, did you also have occasion to speak, give any interviews to the media?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
Objective notice.
Sustained.
After this incident, did you, after you came forward, did you have occasion to be on Facebook or any social media sites engaging with people about what had happened?
After?
Yes, after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can you tell the jury why were you engaging with people about this?
Objective notice.
I want to show you, at some point, were you asked to provide your phone for purposes of, to the prosecution in this case?
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened to your phone that you used to film these videos?
It broke
And do you know approximately when it broke?
like the day after I talked to Monet.
And what did you do as a result of having your phone break?
I gave it to them.
Did you get a new phone?
Yes.
And you gave it to the prosecution?
Yes.
Did you also receive a subpoena from the defense to provide documents?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you about a document. Sorry, just a second. If you could take a look at Exhibit 2682, please. This hasn't been admitted. It'll show up on your screen. Have you seen this before?
Yes.
And have you been asked questions about, and first of all, what is it?
It was a message to, oh wait, to,
Well, let me just ask you a better question. Did you intend to write in this message that you were going to lie when you testified in this case?
no,
What did you intend to do?
Hold on.
dying.
Wait a minute. I got objections. Do I still have objections?
It's an objection to leading.
I'll allow the one question because or answer. Other than that, you're right.
What did you intend to write?
Wait till I'm in the stands. I'm dying to shut you all down.
And you can take that down, thanks. Sarah, do you know an individual by the name of Seth Cowden?
No,
Okay, have you never spoken to him or met with him?
no,
Do you know an individual by the name of Ayanna White?
no,
Again, have you ever spoken to her?
no,
Have you ever gone to the houses that were, well, let me strike that. If I could have just a moment. you. Thank you, Sarah.
Mr. Pertzer?
Mr. Gal, good afternoon.
Hi.
If we could actually go back up to exhibit 2682, please. Lauren, we put 2682 back up. Just for the witness to see, no. That was June. Mr. Gal, this message, this is a message that you sent to another person. I'm offered 2682.
I believe it's related to one of the prior motions, and I'd also just note that it's only for impeachment and shouldn't be offered substantively.
They offered something.
Didn't offer it substantively.
You had it read.
I had it read, correct.
Defense have any other comments? Overruled. 2682 is admitted.
Ms. McDowell, this message you said it was a typo. Correct?
Yes.
All right, so did you corrected this at some point in time down the line?
Did I correct it?
Yes.
I can't remember.
You can't remember if you corrected it.
No.
All right, it says that you're going to lie if you get on the stand.
Right.
And that's what you put down.
That's what it says. Yes, that's what I wrote.
And do you have any evidence whatsoever that you corrected this typo?
I don't know.
You would show it to us if indeed you have it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But you don't have it with you.
Right.
And you never have it, have
No.
you? Now, ma'am, let's go back a little bit about the circumstances giving rise to your involvement in the case. Excuse me. Now, you were living at Holly's house with your daughters and also with Mr. Lowry, correct?
Right.
And you and Mr. Lowry, the daughters are your children,
Yeah, they're both of ours.
but you were not in a relationship at that point in time.
No.
And in fact, the two of you were at odds with each other, not only that day, but for a period of time before that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just not together.
Okay, well, more than you weren't just together, the two of you were fighting, correct?
Like, when?
On March 3rd of 2020, the two of you were fighting.
No, I don't recall us fighting.
Well, you got kicked out of the home that you were living in, correct?
I didn't get kicked out.
Oh, just he got kicked out.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure what happened, but I do believe him and Holly, or him and Zenas, got into an argument. He got kicked out. So me being me, he had nowhere to go, so I talked to my sister for him to be able to come over there, but in order for him to be there, I would have had to been with him.
Okay? So we have this clear. Mr. Lowry was kicked out of the home, but you wanted him to be someplace that he could stay.
Right.
And so he was upset about being removed from the home, or being asked to leave from the home, correct?
I'm sure, yeah.
Okay, and he was upset even when he got on the Sadies later that evening, correct?
I'm sure once I figured it out for him, he was fine. I don't know how he felt.
Once you figured it out for him.
Yes, for a place for him to go.
I see, okay. And then on the way to Sadies, you came across the intersection of 96 and Ainsworth,
Yes.
correct? And then we hear you talking to Mr. Lowry while he is getting out of his vehicle.
Right.
Is that the standard language you speak to him in?
No, I've never, I was scared. I was terrified of what was happening, and when he got out, I didn't want him to go there, so I screamed at him. I threatened him with going to Jesse's, did what I I freaked out.
That you're scared was?
Yes.
And threatening to go to Jesse's.
Right.
And Jesse was who?
He was somebody I was talking to at the time.
Your fiance, or now your fiance?
Now, yes, right.
So you are upset and you're scared, and so you threaten Mr. Lowry that you're going to go to Jesse's if he's going to act in the manner that he's acting.
Right.
Now, when you came up to the intersection, you were at the intersection along with Mr. Lowry, correct?
Right.
And you're behind the patrol car at 80 distance.
Yes.
Correct? And the three vehicles are there. What do you see when you're looking at the patrol car?
Like when I'm already there?
Yes.
Hold up. I see it's a red light. I can't recall if I seen Manny before the light turned green.
Well, I just want to actually focus on the car.
Sorry.
Just
Huh?
on the car. What did you see about the police car?
Nothing. It was just at a red light.
Okay. And when did you notice that there was a police car in front of you?
When I pulled up, I don't know how long until I noticed. I don't recall. I just know when I was there, it was there.
Okay, so the patrol car is there. You and Mr. Lowry are driving along, and you pull up there, and then eventually realize there's a police car.
Not eventually. When I was pulling up, it was red light, so I was slowing down. There was a cop there.
Okay. And you parked some distance back behind the police car, correct?
Right.
Is that what you typically do, is park that far back?
I don't know how far back I was, but isn't it a car between a car?
Okay. And do you recall noticing anything about the lights, the colors of the lights that were on?
Once the officer had gotten out, yes, they were yellow.
Okay. And so when you said once the officer got out, so let's walk through this thing. You said that you saw Mr. Ellis on the sidewalk,
Right.
all right? But you said you saw, we could put 151 back up. Okay. Judge, this actually would be a good time to take a break. This would be a great time to do that.
It's just a couple of minutes before our normal breaking time anyway, so we'll take our afternoon recess for 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not discuss the case among yourselves with anyone else. resume when you're ready, Mr. Purcher.
Thank you. If we could publish 2682, is that what we do? You're free to do this.
2682.
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Ms. McDowell, just getting back to your testimony, this is the Facebook entry that you placed on Facebook in response to people that were challenging your opinion regarding what it could. Correct?
Yes.
All right, that's fine. And then we go back to 150. Now, Ms. McDowell, the area where this event occurred, you have your car, Mr. Lowry's car, and you're behind a police vehicle, correct?
Right, yes.
Now, at any point in time while you were there that evening, did you notice any vehicles coming forward?
I don't remember, no.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you see any vehicles parked on Ainsworth heading northbound?
You mean parked like on the side of the
I'm sorry,
road?
were any cars that were in the right or left turn lane heading northbound?
I don't recall seeing any cars.
Okay, so the only vehicles that you saw were the police vehicle, and then your vehicle, and Mr. Lowry's vehicle.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to
All right, so you were...
other cars.
Sorry?
Said I wasn't paying attention to like other cars at the lights.
Okay. Mr. McDowell, Henny was marked as Exhibit 433A. And just take a look at that photo. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes.
And what is depicted in that photograph?
There's my car, Keon's car, the cop car, and it looks like the yellow lights are flashing.
Okay, and does that appear to be, in that still photo, one of the various scenes that occurred in that particular evening of March 3rd?
Yes.
You are on offer 433A. Objection. Okay.
Hold on. Any objection over there?
433A. I have no objection. And if we could go ahead and publish.
443A is admitted.
Okay, now, Ms. McDowell, maybe come down to the board just to make sure we're all on the same page here, so we can show the jurors the various vehicles. First of all, if you would show, please, Mr. Lowry's vehicle. That's the white car.
Yes.
And then your vehicle, too. And that's the Cadillac.
Yes.
And it looks like the brake lights or the running lights are activated at that point.
Yeah.
Do you know what you might have been doing at that point?
I mean, if they're the brake lights, I mean, like, probably have my foot on them.
Is
You
the
gotta keep your voice up.
is the microphone off now?
Oh, yeah, you want me to put it on?
Please. That seemed to help a bit.
Yes, thank you.
You were right to take it off during the break, but we need it back on again.
Sweet.
Okay?
Yeah.
Drop it out.
Okay.
All right. And then if you would show us, please, where the police cruiser is located. Or the police, I say police car.
Right here?
Okay, and that's up to the left side of the post from this view?
Yeah, yes,
And there's an amber light that is on the car,
yes.
correct? Now, when you came up to the intersection, was that amber light on or off?
It was off,
It was off.
yes.
Okay. And then the events occurred after that point in time?
Yes.
Okay. How long do you recall sitting behind the police vehicle before you saw anything occur?
It was really quick. I'd say between 10 to 20 seconds. I don't really remember exactly the time frame, but it was fast.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you have a recollection of the amount of time that passed?
I don't.
I mean, if you don't, that's fine.
Like I said, 10 to 20 seconds.
Okay.
It was.
All
Yeah,
right,
I
and then,
can't-
you go ahead, please take your seat again. You indicated that when something happened emergency lights went on.
Yes. Yes.
Now, are you referring to the ambers as the emergency lights?
Yeah.
So it wasn't the red and blue police car lights, it's the yellow amber caution kind of.
Yes.
Okay. And when you came up to the vehicle, just so I understand that, the amber lights were not on,
No.
but then they turned on.
Yes.
And then after they turned on, well, check that. When the amber lights turned on, is that when you saw the interaction between Mr. Ellis and the vehicle?
Sorry, say that one more time. Sorry.
When the amber lights turned on, is that when you noticed the interaction between Mr. Ellis and the police officers in the vehicle?
No. I noticed before they turned on.
You noticed the interaction before then?
Yes.
Okay. How much time passed before you noticed those lights go on?
So from the time from where he was standing, him walking to the officer's car, they talked for, like I said, I'm not 100% sure, 10 to 20 seconds. He turned around, got knocked down, and then he got knocked down. As soon as he got knocked down, I don't remember if the passenger jumped out right. I believe he jumped out of the car right away, and then along with the driver. So, from all that happening,
We're gonna get to that. And so there was a period of time that you saw that Mr. Ellis was in contact with the passenger police officer,
yes,
correct? And then when the event happened, is that when you started to record?
yes,
Okay, so like the event happened of the passenger getting out of the vehicle and getting on top of Mr. Ellis, and you started to record
as soon as I seen him get knocked down with the door, I grabbed my phone.
within a second or two.
Yes,
So it was like instantaneous.
yes,
Okay. And then you saw the passenger get on top of Mr. Ellis, correct?
yeah. After the driver officer got out the car, he like grabbed Manny and like body slammed him onto the ground.
We're going to get to them. That's why I asked what the passenger did. The passenger,
She's trying to indicate that the other officer had the contact with Mr. Ellis first.
no, okay. Who contacted Mr. Ellis first? The passenger or the driver?
I believe it was the driver. I can't remember how it all happened right when the passenger got out.
All right. Do you recall that you had some interviews with law enforcement, Mr. Bible, defense attorneys over the couple years?
Yes.
And do you recall an interview that you had with Investigator Heitzman on or about March 3rd, 2021?
I don't remember the days. I can't remember.
But you remember being interviewed by him?
I remember being interviewed by a few people. I don't remember who they were. Like, yeah.
Maybe this will help. Mr. Liu and attorney James Bible were also present for that interview. This is Mr. Liu here from counsel.
I
Does that
can't remember.
refresh your memory?
I can't remember.
Do you recall saying to
Reading from a document with the exhibit number, please.
I'm sorry, 858. Let me ask you this. You made a statement on March 3rd, 2021, correct? One of the four statements you made.
I'm sure I did. I don't remember the dates,
Let me show
honestly.
the thing to you, so we're not
Sorry.
trying to be misleading here. Let me show you all the issues.
What do you want her to, ask her a question, Mr.
I
Pritchett?
am judging.
I haven't heard one.
I have to look at the interview. for the date.
I don't think that's proper.
I'm sorry?
I don't think that's proper. Ask her a question. And if there's some kind of issue about it, then maybe you can show her.
Does that date refresh your memory as to having an interview with Investigator Heisler?
No, I don't.
It doesn't.
Sorry, I just don't remember the
Not a problem.
dates.
Let me
at
show
all.
you what are marked as exhibits 859, 857, and 860. And just see if any of these dates refresh your recollection of any of the interviews you did with the various individuals involved in this case.
I'm going to object to the question today, as the interviews, what she's supposed to remember from them.
All she's being asked now is to just remember, this just causes her to remember that she had the dates of these particular interviews. She acknowledged she had interviews.
Like I said, I remember the interviews. I just don't remember at all what days I did them.
All right, next one.
Sorry, I don't.
Do you recall an interview? Actually, keep them there.
Okay.
Do you recall an interview where I was asking you questions and there were other defense attorneys who were present as well?
Yes.
Okay. And that is the thickest packet there for your reference. Do you recall me asking questions regarding who came into contact with Mr. Ellis first?
Sorry, say that again.
Yes, do you recall me asking you a question about who came into contact with Mr. Ellis first?
I don't exactly remember, but I'm sure he did. I don't know.
Okay. If you could take a look at page 22, just to see if that might refresh your recollection.
What line are you referring to, Counsel?
I'm sorry, it's line. It is lines, actually starts on page 21. Lines, page 21, line 23 through page 22, line 16.
Yeah.
Do you recall being asked those questions and giving those responses?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with respect to, just so we're clear here,
Is there objection?
Well, I'm trying to understand what questions. It didn't relate to the prior questions.
Well-
The questions that are on here are not.
I don't know. None of us has been let in on this mystery of what these questions are, what the answers were. This had to do with who had first contact.
I know that.
All right?
Ms. McDowell, please here today recall first contact with Mr. Ellis.
From what I remember, the driver, besides the passenger knocking him down.
Okay, so the passenger
Can't-
opens the door and knocks him down.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then you said that the driver turned on his emergency lights and came out of the vehicle,
Yes.
all right? And then you said that he picked up Mr. Ellis and threw him to the ground?
Yes.
And then you said that the passenger then got on top of Mr. Ellis
Yes.
and struck him 8 to 10 times.
What it looked like, yes.
Okay. Now, when the driver picked him up and slammed him down, what was the passenger doing?
I don't know, just standing back. I can't exactly recall what he was doing. He was, yeah.
After the driver picked up Mr. Ellis and slammed him to the ground, the passenger then got on top of Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
And Mr. Ellis, was he lying on his back or on his
Yes.
stomach?
No, he was on his back.
He's lying on his back,
Yes.
all right? And if this bar is the vehicle facing forward, which direction was Mr. Ellis faced?
So if this was facing, if the car was facing this way,
Yes.
I don't know. If the car was facing that way, like if I'm where I was behind him, you know, he was laying this way on his back.
Okay, he's at an angle to the car?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the car's right here. He's laying like this back.
There you go. So this is the car that
Sorry.
he'd be laying on his back backwards like.
Yes.
And then the passenger you said got on top of him.
Yes.
So did he straddle him?
Like,
Like did he get over the top of him and
Yeah.
he's down on his knees?
yeah, something like that. It was all so quick. He was just over him. I don't recall if he was exactly on top of him or if he had pressure on him. I don't remember. He was just over him and then was striking him in the face.
And he struck him in the face 8 to 10 times.
What it looked like, yes.
What was the driver doing?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Okay, so you don't know where he was.
He was next to the driver, or he was next to the passenger. He was in that area, same area, right there. I just don't know what he was doing.
Okay, and I think you said that Mr. Ellis was not responding in any fashion.
He wasn't fighting back.
So his arms are at his side or above his head?
I don't remember where his arms were.
But no response whatsoever.
I mean, nothing that I seen that was, no.
Okay. When in your video you get out and you yell at the officers to stop, just arrest him.
Yes.
What was it that you understood that Mr. Ellis did that caused him to possibly be under arrest?
I didn't have any idea. From what I had seen, nothing. So I just wanted them to arrest him for whatever reason they were doing what they were doing.
You heard the officer say to Mr. Ellis, put your hands behind your back,
Yes.
multiple times.
Yes, at the end.
So they told Mr. Ellis to put his hands behind his back multiple times, but Mr. Ellis didn't do that, did he?
No.
You were asked about a taser, correct?
Yes.
Which of the two officers do you recall had the taser?
I can't remember which one had it.
But there was a taser that was there?
Yes.
Did you see the taser?
Yes.
Did you see it used at any point?
I can't remember.
Okay. You mentioned in an interview that it's been so long ago that you're really not sure about the events that happened on that.
I can remember it. Overall, what happened, what I seen. Can't remember all the details completely.
Okay. So you have a general understanding of what it is?
Yes.
Right. But specific details are a little more different.
Yes.
Okay. When the time when you got back into your vehicle and you drove around, you filmed or videoed out the passenger side window.
Yes.
Right? And at that point in time, you said that the officers looked at you.
One of them.
One of the officers looked at you.
Yeah.
Right? Did the officers say anything?
No.
Were the other officers telling Mr. Ellis to put his hands behind his back during that period of time?
Wait, you said the other officers? There's only two.
Right. Well, what officer was telling Mr. Ellis to put his hands
Oh.
behind his back?
I don't know who it was.
Just one of the officers?
Yes.
Okay.
Or actually, I do believe they were both telling him. I don't know who had the taser. That was what I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know who had the taser,
Right.
but both officers are telling Mr. Ellis to put his hands behind his back.
Yeah,
All
I
right?
believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
And that happened as you were driving away.
Yes.
Okay. While you were there, did you see any other vehicles come by you?
I can't recall. I don't
Okay.
remember.
Do you recall seeing any other individuals outside?
No,
Okay.
don't remember.
You said you came back over what period of time later?
I have no idea how long it was now. Back then I probably knew, but I have no idea. I just know I did come back
That's fine. When you
as
were-
soon as possible.
Okay, while you were there, did you hear other sirens?
Yes.
Okay, so when did you hear the other sirens?
I don't remember before I had left.
Okay, before you had left, and so you filmed the first time,
Yes.
and then you stopped filming,
Yes.
and you heard the sirens during that first film session.
No.
You started driving away, and then you heard the sirens.
No, I don't remember hearing sirens when I was leaving. I remember hearing sirens when I was at my sister's house. I don't know if they were sirens to that. To this, there's always sirens on Hosmer around the area, so I don't know. I just figured that they were for Manny. But either way, I was coming back. Yeah.
So you heard sirens, but you don't know what they're related to?
No.
You believe they might be for Manny?
Yes.
But you don't know that?
Right.
Okay. When you first saw Mr. Ellis, you said you saw him on the sidewalk, walking toward the police station.
Yes.
Did you see him carrying anything?
No, I don't. I wasn't paying attention to what he had in his hands. If he had anything, I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall what he was wearing?
No.
Was he wearing shorts?
I wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
Okay. Don't know what color he was wearing?
No.
Okay. Just no recollection of that.
No.
And when he came to the vehicle, you said that he turned away from the car and the door knocked him down.
Right, yeah.
So it knocked him to the ground.
Yes.
Did he get back up from the ground?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Okay. But you said that the driver came around and picked him up.
Yes.
So was he on the ground, do you believe?
I can't say. I don't know if he was standing up or if he was on the ground. I cannot remember.
But you recall the driver picking him up and slamming him.
Yes.
And then the passenger got on top of him and started striking.
Yes.
After that occurred, what do you recall next in that environment with the two police officers and Mr. Ellis?
They were like on him. They were just like fighting. I don't know exactly what they were doing. They were just on him. And then I think at that point I was like yelling at Keon. And then I had got back in my car, and what I had seen, they were still doing. Then I pulled in front, and they were like still on top of him.
Okay, and they're telling him to put his hands behind his back.
Yes.
You never saw Mr. Ellis struggle?
Struggle? No, not. I never seen him fight back. When I seen him at the end, he seemed like out of breath. Like he said help. From what I heard, it just looked like to me, I assumed he was just, out of breath, tired, had gotten beat, and
From the struggle?
yeah.
Did you ever see him put his hands behind his back?
No, to me it looked like the officer's hand was on him, and he was just in a position where it was hard for him to, if he did try or whatever. He just didn't look like he was capable of doing that.
Okay. If we could go to Exhibit 20. Start at just 1 second. All right. Miss McDowell, this is the video that you shot from your vehicle.
Yes.
And if you look at that picture, on the left-hand side there are vehicles. There is a vehicle in the oncoming lane, correct?
Yeah.
Did you see where that vehicle went?
No.
Do you recall that vehicle stopped?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, so you don't know what, if anything happened.
I don't remember the car at all, no. I don't remember if anything happened to the car.
All right, and if you go ahead and play the video, please. Stop again, please. The yellow lights that are going across the back of the bar, those are the emergency lights you're referring to.
Yes.
Did they ever turn to red and blue?
No, not that I recall, no.
Okay. All right, continue on, please.
Hey! Stop! Oh my God! Stop hitting him! Hitting him! Just arrest him! Just arrest him!
Stop, please. Okay, at that point in time, you're into the video, 16 seconds. A portion of that we can't see because you're talking to Mr. Loud.
Yeah.
So the portion we can see is, I don't know, 8 to 10 seconds long.
I don't know, however long I guess that my camera was down and from when I got into the car.
All right. How did the officers and Mr. Ellis get so far forward from the police car if he got knocked down right next to the car?
I don't know, after he got punched a bunch of times, he probably was struggling. I don't know. They were on top of him the whole time. I don't know how he got to that point.
So you don't know how he got this?
Nope.
And go ahead and please put it in.
Oh my god, that looks so scary! Shut up! You have kids in the car, you dumbass! You already know. Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Get in the car, you got your kids. Shut the fuck up! You know what, Keon? Now I'm really going to Jesse's because you really just did that.
Stop again. Actually, if you go back just a short, right there. All right. So here it looks as if Mr. Ellis is on the ground,
Yes.
correct? And officers are on him.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell what it is that they're doing?
No.
Go ahead and play the
I don't know.
please. Okay, it didn't look like there was any punches thrown at that point in time. Correct?
I don't know.
You don't know if there's punches thrown? Do you have a recollection of actually seeing punches thrown?
The time that I remember punches being thrown was at the beginning from the passenger officer. I don't remember if I've seen with my eyes him getting punched after that. I can't remember.
Okay, so you don't know what's on the video or just something you saw independent of the video?
Yeah.
Excuse me. When Mr. Ellis came to the police car, did you see him strike the passenger side window?
No.
Did you see anything below his feet?
No. I wasn't paying attention to what was on the ground.
Okay.
You said,
No, I didn't. I didn't see anything that was on the ground either.
Okay. Did see a bottle of water in his hand?
No, I don't remember.
And you never got to the passenger side of the vehicle, even when you got out of your car, correct?
No.
Okay, so you stayed on the driver's side
Right.
and then drove around.
Yes.
Okay. And again, getting back to the point in time when you saw the two officers engage with Mr. Ellis, as you sit here today, you don't have a clear recollection of whether the punching happened first by the passenger officer or if the driver grabbed Mr. Ellis first. Would that be correct?
The driver grabbed Mr. L. Oh, yeah. From what I can remember, the driver grabbed him first and body slammed him.
All right. If you could take a look at page 19 of the bigger transcript, I review for yourself pages 19, line 22 through page 20, line 4, to see if that might refresh your memory. I'm sorry, Judge, it is. 860. 860, yeah.
I'm sorry, what lines did you say?
Yes,
Page
line,
19?
page 19, line 22 through page 20, line 4. Does that refresh your memory regarding the sequence of events?
Yeah, that's just not exactly right, though.
Well, when I asked you the question of what the next thing is that you saw, you said that the passenger officer gets out of the car and like he didn't grab him yet, he got on top of him and was just punching him over and over.
Right,
That's what you said to me, correct?
right.
And I think it was either at that point that I got out of the car or the driver officer ended up getting out of the car. And he flicked on his yellow lights, then he got out of the car and he ran around,
Yeah.
correct?
That's what I said. It wasn't accurate, though. This was 3 years after the fact. I went back and I watched the video after not watching it and read things that I had, or interviews that I had done, and got a little refreshed, but I remember that that's not what happened. It
So-
wasn't the officer, the driver officer, he had gotten out before the passenger officer started punching him.
That's what you're saying here today.
Yes,
You're clear about that, that's what
yes,
even though back when we talked in October of 2022, you said something exactly opposite, correct?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, this is January 2020.
Right. Wasn't completely opposite. It was just, I had said that the driver officer got out after he was being punched by the passenger, which wasn't accurate. The driver had gotten out before he started getting punched.
And you said that Mr. Ellis was on his back,
Right,
getting struck,
right,
getting struck in the face,
right.
didn't respond whatsoever.
No, he wasn't fighting back, no.
He laid there and got punched in the face.
Yeah, that's what was happening, yes.
And then the driver came around and picked him up and slammed him to the ground.
The driver officer came out before the passenger officer was punching him in the face.
Okay, so the driver...
So the driver body slammed him to the ground before the passenger officer was striking him in the face.
Okay. So the driver got to Mr. Ellis before the passenger got to Mr. Ellis.
Right.
And right before that point in time, you testified to the jury that you actually saw Mr. Ellis on the side of the road.
Sorry, say that again?
Yes, you said you saw Mr. Ellis walking down the sidewalk toward the location.
Sidewalk, yes. Yes.
You don't recall seeing Mr. Ellis in the middle of the road and come to the driver's side window?
No,
You did not see it,
no,
okay? You did not see Mr. Ellis go walking around the car and come up to the car door and smack the car door window with his fist two or three times?
no.
Your recollection is that he was walking down the sidewalk.
Right, yes.
And what drew your attention to Mr. Ellis that evening?
Well, like I said before, I can't remember if Mr. Ellis was or walked to the officer's car before the light or after the light had turned green. Once they didn't go, once it turned green, and then when Manny got hit by the door is when.
So would it be clear
Sorry.
then? I'm sorry. What?
No, I'm like just blah blah blah.
Would it be accurate to say that when the police car was stopped there for the red light, the light then turned green, the police car did not drive away?
Yeah, that's when
That
I was
drew
like,
your attention, correct?
yes,
And so would it be correct to say that at that point in time, you didn't look at anything else, but you were waiting for the police car to go whatever direction it was going to go, but it didn't do so because of the green light? Or it didn't go because the red light had turned to a green light, and you were going, what the heck's going on, correct?
I was like, what's going on? I
Okay.
was just like confused because I wasn't going to go around. I didn't want to get in trouble. And then I had seen Manny walking up to the police car. From what I had seen and thought, the officers got his attention. Manny walked to the door, or to their car, and literally in my head, I was thinking that they were friends, that they knew each other, that the officers were maybe like asking him how he was doing, because it wasn't I don't know the word, like, it wasn't crazy. Nothing was happening. Like, it was just calm to what I had seen.
Right, but you just said that when the traffic light turned green,
Right,
the police car did not move.
right.
You're focused on the back of the police car saying, why aren't they going? And then you saw Mr. Ellis next to the car.
I wasn't focused at the back of the car. I don't know where I was focused at. I don't know if I had already seen Manny. I ended up seeing Manny go to the car. Like I said, though, nothing was crazy or nothing was happening. And the whole time I was behind the cop car.
And throughout the time that they had contact with Mr. Ellis, they're yelling at him to put his hands behind his back.
Say that one more time.
Yes, during the time that they are with Mr. Ellis, the police officers are yelling at him to put his hands behind his back
At the end.
at the end.
Right.
But you didn't see Mr. Ellis struggling whatsoever.
No, not struggling. I don't know, like, he wasn't fighting back. He wasn't, like, pushing them off. He was laying there. Yeah.
When Mr. Ellis was initially contacted next to the patrol car, he was by the door, correct? That passenger side door.
Yes.
But he went from the passenger side door to several feet in front of the police car.
Yes.
Did you notice how that occurred?
No, they were just on top of him, so I don't know what was happening,
Okay, so
how he got over there.
So you're looking at Mr. Ellis and the events that are going on. You're yelling at Keon. Then you look up again and he's farther in front of the vehicle.
Yes.
Okay, so he's moving during this period.
Right.
You don't know how he got
No. They were on top of him, and so after getting punched a bunch of times, he probably was struggling just to breathe, to be okay, and I don't know.
there. Would it be safe to say that you really don't have the details of the event that occurred that evening because you really weren't focused on
No,
this situation?
that's not true.
It's not true.
No.
You just had an argument with your former boyfriend.
I didn't.
Objection, that's not what you said. I'll withdraw.
There's no objection, so go ahead.
Keon had been in an argument with the people he was living with.
Yes,
And you're helping him move that.
right.
When you got to Sadie's home the second time,
Yes.
did you talk to her about what it is that you saw?
I don't recall talking to my sister. I don't know.
And so you don't recall talking to your sister about this event. You went to bed. The next morning she said that you had a friend that had passed away.
Yes.
And then your attention was really kind of diverted from what, if anything, happened with Mr. Ellis until later in June.
Right.
Okay? Yeah, excuse me, sir. Ma'am, when you said that you saw Mr. Ellis walking, which direction was he walking?
Towards, like, me.
So he's walking toward your vehicle, that same direction?
Yeah.
And I think you said on direct examination, you saw him about where the apron of the driveway is of the, we have 151 back up, please. Just so we're clear on this. Ma'am, on exhibit 151, if you can show the jury where it was that you first saw Mr. Ellis.
From what I remember, it's like around here. Then here's the cop car. And then I had seen him walk like this to the cop car.
Okay. So you saw Mr. Ellis at a stop bar area of that road.
What?
It's called a stop bar, the white line.
Oh, right here? Yeah.
That's where you saw Mr. Ellis
Yeah. Where,
walking toward you, toward your direction when you first.
yeah, but he was on the sidewalk.
Okay. All right, thank you. And Ms. McDowell, you saw him there at the apron. How, did you see him at any point in time before then?
I don't remember. Like when I first seen him, I just remember I seen him at that point. I seen him seconds, I guess, before he approached the car.
Okay, so any place up farther, 151 from the stop, but you didn't see him anywhere up here in this, Up along
I
96.
don't remember. Nope.
Okay. Thanks, that's all I have here.
Okay. Mr. Osler? Cross-examination.
Good. Are you?
Follow up first with that, one of the last line of questions by Mr. Hertzer. He had you review the transcripts from your January, make sure I get the date correct. Your January 11, 2023 interview you had with defense counsel, in which you said that the passenger got on top of Mr. Ellis first and started punching him, repeatedly in the head on his back. Remember that?
Yep.
And I think your response to being confronted with that was that you reviewed some materials after that interview. Is that correct?
Sorry, I'm not getting it. What are you?
Well, Mr. Hertzer was asking you why you said something different in January
Right.
than you testified in front of this jury, right?
Right.
And I thought I heard you say that you reviewed some materials after the interview before testimony today. Is that right?
Right.
Who did you review those materials with?
Myself.
And what materials did you review?
Just videos that I had.
The videos that we showed in court?
Right.
So if I understand, after that interview, but before testifying, you reviewed what's now been admitted as Exhibit 20 and Exhibit 21, and now you remember it differently than you told us in January. Is that right?
Sorry. So are you? So you're saying me reviewing the videos that I remember different than what I remembered before?
Well, Ms. McDowell, you told us very specifically, and Mr. Purcher just asked you about the sequence of events when the passenger police officer confronted Mr. Ellis, right?
Yeah.
And what you told us in January 11th of 2023 was that the passenger knocked Mr. Ellis down with a door, right?
Right.
And that the passenger then essentially mounted Mr. Ellis as he was on his back, right?
Right.
And he punched him 8 to 10 times in the face while Mr. Ellis laid there helpless, right?
Right.
And that after the passenger punched Mr. Ellis 8 to 10 times in that position, the driver got out, picked up Mr. Ellis, and body slammed him on the ground, right?
Right.
That's what you told us in January of this year.
Right.
And you testified today to a wholly different sequence of events, right?
Yes.
And so the only thing that you've reviewed since that was the video that we just played for you. Do I have that right?
I've reviewed videos and interviews that I've done.
Okay.
All the facts were right. What I had gotten mixed up was who contacted him first.
Well, we'll get there. You just told me that you reviewed the 2 videos.
Right.
And now you're saying you reviewed...
I reviewed all of it.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Okay?
Right.
I asked you about the video specifically. What else did you review?
Interviews that I did.
Okay, and you're talking about transcripts of those interviews.
Yes.
Okay, and where did you get those from?
From Amy.
From who?
Amy.
Amy, is she in the courtroom?
Yes.
At the Attorney General's table over here?
Yes.
Okay, so the Attorney General's office gave you transcripts to review after our interview?
Yes.
Did they tell you why they wanted you to review them?
Just so I had them.
Did they tell you that what you said?
I don't remember actually. I don't remember really why.
Okay. When they gave you the transcript? Did they tell you to look for anything particular?
No.
Just review them?
Yeah.
They tell you that what you had said in previous interviews was inconsistent with what you told us in January?
No.
Okay. So you reviewed those transcripts
Right.
and the 2 videos.
Right.
Anything else?
No, not that I can remember. Just that. All I had. Or all that there is, really.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I want to make sure I understand the sequence of events. Did we stop at 4?
Yes.
Okay. You leave the location that you and Keon were staying at. Is it Zenus? Is that the name?
Holly and Zenus, yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And if I understand, you traveled down McKinley Avenue
Yes.
from that location towards 96th Street, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And you turn right off McKinley onto 96th.
Yes.
Okay, not Pacific Avenue?
No, I didn't go down Pacific Avenue.
Okay. All right. And so you turn right onto 96,
Yes.
which is about a mile from the location where you came to stop at this intersection of Ainsworth. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. And as you turn right onto 96, there are no cars for about that mile between you and the officer's vehicle that stopped up at that light, right?
I can't remember. There could have been, they could have turned. I have no idea.
Okay.
But between me and the officers, when I did get there was no cars in front of me.
At any point, you recall any vehicles between you and the officer's vehicle as you approached?
No.
All right. And as you approached, the officer's vehicle was already stopped, correct?
Right, yes.
And the light was already red.
Right.
So when did you first notice that the light was red relative to your position to the vehicle? Meaning, how far away from them are you?
I don't remember enough for me to be slowing down and know to stop.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay, nothing out of the ordinary at that point in time.
No.
And I assume you pulled up in your lane of travel directly behind the patrol vehicle.
Right, yes.
You're not off to the right in the distance.
No.
Okay, in your lane of travel.
Right.
And if I understood, you have your music turned up loud at this point in time?
Yes.
And as you see here today, you don't recall if your windows are up or down?
I can't remember.
That's fair, okay. But you remember that the music was relatively loud at that point?
Yes.
And was it such that you couldn't hear what was happening outside? Meaning, was it loud enough that it would have obstructed you from hearing if there were noises or voices outside the vehicle?
I can't remember.
Okay. No recollection?
No.
And what you've said at every interview that you've given in this case is that you saw the entirety of the incident, right?
Right.
From start to finish.
Basically, I guess you can say I don't remember saying all. I don't know.
Well, do you remember going on CNN and telling them you saw the entire incident from start to finish?
No. I don't remember what I said.
Well,
Then.
didn't you appear on CNN with Mr. Bible?
Right.
And you appeared at CNN with Mr. Bible, and you told the corresponder that you saw everything that happened, right?
I'm not sure. I don't
You
know.
don't remember what you said?
Nope. I remember saying what I seen. I don't remember saying that I seen start to finish. Don't recall that.
And so you spoke to CNN. Did you speak to any other media outlets about what you saw with Mr. Bible?
Yeah.
Who else did you speak to with Mr. Bible present?
I can't remember who it was.
Cairo News?
Hmm.
That answer, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You went on TV with Mr. Bible, with Cairo News to tell him you saw the entirety of the incident and what was reported was not accurate, right?
Right.
How many times did you appear and speak with Mr. Bible? To the media?
I can't remember.
More than 5 times, right?
I don't know.
More than 2 times?
I from what I remember is CNN and the Cairo. I don't remember anything else.
So you remember 2, might have been more though?
Possibly. Don't know.
And who organized those interviews with the media? Was it you or Mr. Bible?
Mr. Bible, it wasn't me.
So the attorney for the Ellis family asked you to go on TV.
Asked if I would be willing to.
When was that?
I don't know.
What was it? You said that you first talked to him on June 4th of 2020. How long after you talked to him on June 4th did he ask you to go on CNN, Cairo, or any other media outlet to tell what you saw?
I don't know. I know we did an interview when I first got a hold of them, and that was at my house. The other interviews were just after that. I don't remember how far apart, what month. I don't recall.
Okay, all right. Just remember doing it. Don't remember how many times
Right.
or when.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Can I get 151 back up? Go along. Sweet Dad, do you have Exhibit 860 up there still? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Do you have 860 up there? There's a little tag on it with a number in the corner. But, thanks, Coach Judge. I think it's this one. This one right here.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I'm like,
That's okay.
hmm.
You have 860 in front of you?
Yes.
All right. Now, Mr. Purcher just asked you to stand up and show us where on 96 you first saw Mr. Ellis and what direction he was walking relative to your vehicle. Do you remember him just asking you those questions?
Right. Yes.
And you stood up and you showed us that he was somewhere around the stop bar but walking away from your vehicle. Do you remember saying that?
No, not away from my vehicle.
I'm sorry.
Not away from
I
it.
was incorrect.
Oh.
You correct me. You testified he was walking towards your vehicle.
Right.
All right. That's not what you told us in
What?
the Jeep.
Sorry. Go.
Well, let me clarify. Was he walking towards you or away from you?
To me, what it looked like he was walking towards. I don't recall if he was walking or if he was stopped.
Okay. Make
Just
sure I
so we're
understand. So when Mr. Purcher asked you, you demonstrated that he appeared to be walking in the direction of left to right on the exhibit towards the front of your vehicle. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Maybe stop somewhere in that area by that stop bar, though, right? Here's our left.
Right. Yes.
Okay. That's not what you told us on January 11th of 2023, is it?
I don't know.
Well, turn to page 17 of the exhibit, if you will. And lines 2 through 4, go ahead and read to yourself.
I don't know. That it just.
One second. There's a
I
question.
can't
I
explain.
just asked you to read it.
Yeah, just
You read it? Finished?
Yeah, I read it. Yeah.
Okay. What's your question? What's that?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, so I was going to say, what's your question?
So, having reviewed that, didn't you tell us at the interview that he was walking the same direction your car was facing?
Objection, Your Honor.
I think it just came out wrong.
Hold on a
dude.
second.
I object that that mistake.
It doesn't even make sense, really.
Well, did you tell them that or not?
No. This doesn't even seem.
I'm sorry, what was the answer?
No.
Well, didn't you tell us on line
What,
2?
read the question, read the answer.
That's what we do right there. We're gonna finish. Question, line 1, so he's walking towards the vehicles, right? That's the question.
Yes.
And you took that to mean towards your vehicle, right?
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna ask that you read the question and answer. Because impeaching her, that's the proper procedure.
I agree. Read the question and the answer.
The question is, so he's walking towards the vehicles, correct?
Yes.
On line 1. On line 2, your answer is on the sidewalk. He wasn't walking towards us. He was just on the sidewalk, like the same way our car direction.
I think he skipped a word there inadvertently, walking.
Yeah.
Read it again and read it slowly.
Lines 2 through 4 is your answer, is that right?
Yes.
All right. Didn't you tell us on the sidewalk, period, he wasn't walking towards us, period? he was just on the sidewalk, walking like the same way our car direction. I seen him by the intersection. Isn't that what you said?
Yes.
All right. So what you described was him walking.
Again, I'm gonna ask that the council have to read lines 5 through 10, because that's a continuation of that same statement. Clarifying.
Could you hand it to me, Matt? I'm going to let this stand. If you want to clarify it on redirect, you can.
All right, so Ms. McDowell, what you were describing in that question and the answer was him walking the opposite direction, the direction your vehicles are facing, right?
Yeah, but that's not what I meant. I think it just came out wrong, I guess. It
Okay.
doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not what I meant.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's
But you
okay.
agree that's different than what you testified here today, right?
Yeah, well, I said that he was walking towards us. This says he wasn't. He was just on the sidewalk walking. But I don't recall, I don't know for sure if he was walking or not, or if he was just in place. I don't recall him walking away from us, like past the intersection.
And when you're saying what you don't recall, that's what you don't recall now, as opposed to what we're talking about on January 11th. Did I have that right?
I just don't recall him walking the opposite way at all.
Okay, so we'll take a recess for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not, you can grab the exhibit. Please do not discuss the case among yourselves with anyone else. Please do not permit anyone to discuss the case with you or in your presence, and enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.